All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host King. Just want to get that that disclaimer out of the way. If guys, sorry, hold on a second. It looks like I got a bad connection here. Is there any way any of you guys could write in the chat and let me know if everything's working out here? I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, we're just going to go ahead and move forward, and hopefully it will work out. So anyway, the financial disclaimer. Again, this is not financial advice. Please do your due diligence before making any decisions based on this information. So let's jump right into it. Today, well, we've had a lot of action happen over the last 24 hours, kind of as expected. We're still back here on the weekly chart, and on the weekly chart we have seen that rejection ended up turning into a fall off the cliff type fall. So awesome. Okay, you can hear me. Cool, thanks. So anyway, so we can change this failed to it didn't fail. It definitely failed to break out. So I still believe that 6K is my target. For now, that will be the bottom of the ascending triangle, and then we'll see what happens. It could very well break down, but there was a good few points that were made the other day or yesterday. I was listening to and just talking to other people that I work with, and we fell pretty fast, so we do need to keep in mind that there is a possibility that, let me get to the 4, oops, that's a 6 hour, let's go to the 4 hour. If we go to the 4 hour chart, we did get a 9 here, okay, in the sequential, telling us it's going to go up. Now, does that mean that that's what's going to happen? Not necessarily. But again, it was dead on with the 9 on the top on the 4 hours going to fall. We rode this BB all the way down here. And we did get a candle to close outside of the BB. Now, to me, I don't really feel that it will bounce. But if it does bounce, it could easily go to 7K. 69.90, you've got your stop and reverse points here, and you've also got the it's a 20-week moving average, so the 24-hour moving average, or whatever you want to call it. It's not going to, there's your stop and reverse points. So we could see a little bit of a rally here, but it's unlikely. But it is possible. So, let's keep that in mind. If we go to the 1 hour chart, again, we're like super sideways right here. And it looks like we have got to a pretty narrow BB here. When that happens, I've noticed over time, when the BB is very narrow, it usually pumps. When it's in an uptrend, it pumps almost every time when it gets narrow. You got a little bit of a run up here, and then it dumps. So, again, same thing here. Narrow BB, we jumped up, but we were on top of the Bollinger Bands, or we were on top of the 20 MA. So we look at this fall here, and it was drastic. So obviously, we're at a point here where I would get what I would consider a no trade zone. I'm expecting us to either, I still expect us to go to 6K, but I wouldn't short until somewhere around 65, maybe a little over that, and there's no way I'm longing right now. It's just too risky. So that's kind of the idea from what I'm seeing on the 1 hour chart. This is the first time I looked at the charts today, guys, so bear with me. I've got to go through them. I've had quite a busy morning this morning. Okay. So, we're back to, is this my fib? No, this isn't the right one. This one, okay. So here's my fib hourly. I didn't draw a new fib yet. With this particular drop, I'm still kind of working off of our original BB, or not our original, but our original fib from the fall from 85. As you can see, we were rejected at the 618 level, like we have been the entire bear market. And it fell back under the 2.36, and now it's having a hard time getting back over it. So that's why I said I'll set my longs or my shorts up here. I highly doubt that this is just gonna revert back and come all the way back to 7K, which it could. We could see a BART to 7K, maybe a little while there. But you've got your 50 EMA here at the 68.44 level. You'll have channel resistance. It'll be a tough move up. It's going to be a tough move up. So I don't see it happening. I still think that we see 6K before we see 7K. So just keep that in mind. That's kind of my thoughts behind it from what I'm seeing right now. If we draw a fib, let's just do it real quick. I really like the fibs, guys. I don't know if you've ever noticed that or not, but the fibs are awesome, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. But again, if you draw the fib right to the drop there, it shows that we are basically fighting the exact same trend line. So when I seen this yesterday, I didn't even feel that I should redraw it. I mean, a dead cat bounce off of this particular fall would be about 66, 61 area, somewhere in there. I believe, let me just double check, I set a long, or not a long, a short. Yeah, I've got a short at 50.20 or 65.20. And I may even move that down a little bit, but I'm just going to watch it for a little while. I'm not really in no rush. Good trades come all the time, so just keep that in mind. Don't ever rush into it. We're not in a hurry. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. So, but anyway, so that's kind of the plan. The problem with this whole thing is we did break out of this channel, and we broke out of it pretty hard. We came back under the dead cat bounce level, which, I was thinking that, if we broke that level, then it was going to get really, really ugly. And it did. I mean, it got pretty ugly yesterday, and I still don't think it's done. I mean, I think we've got plenty of room to fall down to the zero mark of the, fully retrace the first drop, which is at the 58.59 level. If we break that level, we're going to 5, maybe even 5,000. So we need to be careful here. This has been strong support throughout the entire bear market this year. So we'll just see where it ends up at. So that's kind of the outlook there. Let's check the oscillators. All right, well, here, this is one other thing I wanted to show you guys. This is another thing that's worrying me, and we could see a bit of a move up. And that's because these shorts, man, these guys, we're just not giving up on short, and we're back towards an all-time high again on BitMEX. Wait a second, why does it say Ethereum? I don't think it matters. But anyway, shorts are again back towards an all-time high. So there's two options here. Either we drop to 6K and we take profit and shorts come down, and then we get some more long interest at the 6K mark, and that will help us push it down more. Or we do see a little bit of a bounce here to liquidate some shorts. The thing is this bounce to liquidate these shorts will be nowhere near the bounce that we had here in the last week or so to, try to liquidate the shorts as we went up to 72 and then up to 75 or 74. So now, I mean, we really only need to get back to probably the 66 range or so to liquidate a lot of these shorts. So, or actually, let's look back here. Probably more like, yeah, 66 to 67. I'm looking at a different chart on another screen. Sorry, guys, but let me show you. So I'm guessing that shorts exploded about right here. We stopped here for a little bit. We started to see a rebound. And I think that's when a lot of people jumped in short. Obviously, we had a lot of jump-ins here too, which would bring us back to the 7K area. A lot of people shorted from 7K, which are trying to, most of these people want to take profit at 6K. So that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I think there's a possibility that we pay some shorts this time, and we go down, we hit that 6K mark, and then, kind of reevaluate it there and see what happens. So now let's check the oscillators. On the BB, this is the one that I really wanted to show you guys. And this was, a lot of talk and chatter about this MACD crossover on the weekly chart, which is really looking bearish now. It's turning back, which is scary because we haven't seen a crossover in Bitcoin under the 0 mark this low ever. So, I mean, this is an unknown. If that crosses back over on the weekly again, it could get very ugly. Which I'm talking, the 5K area, maybe even more. I still think that 5K is very strong support. I think we'll have a lot of buy interest at that area, but who knows? I mean, we could fall down there and everybody just panic and take us down to 3K. So these are all possibilities, and we need to start looking at every single possibility before before making any trades. Right now, it is a risky trade zone, no matter how you look at it. I mean, whether or not we know it's going to 6K or not, whether or not all the TA is proving that it's going to 6K or not means nothing. And the same exact thing with, just like when we went to 74. I mean, yeah, I knew it was going to fall, but let's be real, it is risky. I mean, just trading crypto in general is risky. So we just need to keep our minds on that. But on the weekly chart, we are nowhere near oversold. Again, Stoch RSI still nowhere near oversold. The MACD is looking bearish again. Your CMF is still falling. Your momentum is still dropping. Your TSI is still falling. So there's a lot of room to fall when you look at a weekly basis. And let's go back and let's just look at a daily basis. On the daily, we still have a lot of room to fall on this RSI. Same thing with the Stoch. Same thing with the TSI. Your MACD just did a bearish crossover. It just happened. So we could see another week or two of just blood. Again, CMF's coming down, momentum's down, everything's down. Now, when you get into some of the smaller time frames, let's go to the 4 hour. Now we're like super oversold, right? We're super oversold. We're super oversold. We're quite oversold here. We're definitely oversold on the TSI. I mean, big time. It's coming back up. The MACD is turning, but just like I told you guys the other day, with that daily chart, or not the daily, the weekly, we could easily see a rejection back down again, and that's what happened, and this is possible. Your CFM is very low. Your momentum is down. So just remember, I mean, even on the 4 hour chart, even though it's oversold, there's still room to fall. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. The 1 hour chart has got to be oversold. Or no, it's not. So it is oversold on the RSI. But the TSI is one that I really like using a little bit more than the RSI. I think it's more accurate. The RSI is definitely oversold, or it's in oversold conditions. But the TSI isn't. The TSI is telling us that we've made a nice pull back to that center line. Which in return is telling me that this MACD crossover that happened, obviously we haven't had no movement, so it's pretty much bearish to me. It doesn't look like it's quite turning yet, so we'll watch it. CFM is coming up a bit, but it's still on a downtrend, so we'll watch it. Your momentum is definitely weak. And your Stoch is totally overbought. So, again, there's some divergence here. Overbought on the RSI, not quite there on the, or not quite there. Overbought on the Stoch, not quite there on the TSI or on the RSI. So, with the Stoch is telling us, that it's going to keep, it's going to go down probably soon. Now, will it fall hard? Who knows? it's kind of hard to tell right now. After big drops like we just had, we have to be careful because when you have such a strong movement, it's hard to calculate and use the TA to come to a conclusion of which way it may go. Because we just don't know. We need a few hours. You know, like right now, we've got a few hours here. I mean, you could easily say that this is painting a bear flag, which is all fine and dandy. But, you know, a lot of these other, you know, some of the smaller time frames say we still have some room to grow a little bit. So let's just see. Let's not rush into anything today. I am, like I said, I do have a long setup or not a long, sorry, a short set up at 65.20 right now at the moment. I may move that down a little bit depending on what kind of movement we see up here. If we see a nice green candle that gets rejected or something like that. You know, last night my trailing stop ended up hitting. We went down to 62.54. Here, let me just pull it up over here. Yeah, see, so overnight we went down to, let's see here. Yeah, I missed this. I must have just passed out right before it. So yeah, I went down to 62.53, which brought my trailing stop to 63.53, which means we got stopped out on its way back up, which is fine. We took profit. We made some good money yesterday, which is good. But I wish I would have been up because I probably would have just sold there at that bottom there, just, you know, marketed it or just, you know, limit sold there. And then definitely would have reshorted at 65 if I would have seen that happen. But, of course, I was asleep. That didn't happen. But so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think there's too much resistance here for us to move up a lot. I mean, I think we can definitely move up to the DeadCat level. But other than that, I don't see us moving any farther. So that's my prediction. I'm thinking, you know, 65, 66 maybe, if we're lucky. And then it's going to go ahead and fall again. And then, you know, who knows? It could just fall. We could miss out on it. We don't want to FOMO in. Trying to catch these things is dangerous. So let's just keep that in mind. So I think that kind of explains XBT here. Let me just check something real quick. Let me find the moving averages. Where are they at? Nope. Nope. Here we go. So now Bitcoin with this drop has broken through and fell through every single MA that there is. So there's nothing else holding us up. I mean, there's really not. You got your fib supports, small things along those lines, but you know, we're kind of we broke through. We're definitely in a downtrend now again, or short-term downtrend. You know, we did have the 100-day MA, I believe. Where did it go? It's not showing up on this chart for some reason. Oh yeah, it is 100-day MA orange. So that's where we were holding up at before yesterday, before we fell that last little bit. We broke through the 100 MA again on the daily. Nothing holding us up now. The only thing holding us up is 6K support. So we need to keep that in mind. We don't have any support left. All of our support's gone. We fell through a lot of it, it really could start to get very ugly, and I expect it to. I don't expect it to go up. I mean, it can. I'm not expecting it to, but it can. Even if it does go up on the 1-hour chart, I mean, you're going to hit 30-day MA resistance at 65, 69. Then you're going to hit, let's see, this is the 1-hour chart. I don't like looking at the 1-hour chart when I'm using the MAs anyway. But anyway, coming back up, you're going to have a real fight here at the 30-day MA. It did stop us there for a little while, but then eventually we broke through. So that might be our only resistance point right now, besides the fib level. So again, that's given us about 66, which is exactly at a DeadCat level. So we'll see if that's what happens, but I highly doubt that we go that high. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ether. Ether has been on a very, very, very nasty fall for the last few days. Again, it looks basically just like BTC does. Oh wait, that's because that is BTC. There we go. Okay, so again, still looks kind of like BTC does. It's kind of playing the same up and down game. The one thing that worries me a little bit more about Ether at the moment is ETH is it just hasn't been in a good place. I mean, even with the rally, let's look at this real quick. You pull this back. This is your rally in Bitcoin. Okay? When we came back up to the 70 whatever 100 range, it was 7,400. Ether never really recovered at all. I mean, throughout this entire trend, it just hasn't recovered. It's actually kept going down. And so this is something to keep an eye on. It broke its support level at 244 area. It broke through that. Let's look at the actual USD version of this. Yeah, I mean, Ether is at an all-time low right now. All-time low for this year anyway. So, you know, I would keep an eye on it. There's a strong, strong possibility that Ether crashes. And I mean crash, like zero crash. It don't got to go very much farther. So let's keep an eye on Ether. I mean, if BTC goes, Ether's going too. So keep that in mind. If you're going to short BTC, short Ether too. Because they're both going to move together. It seems that they have moved pretty much together the entire time. Even on that last rally up that we had with Bitcoin, we were going up. And Ether was kind of falling down, and then all of a sudden it just crashed with Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin crashed, Ether crashed. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it and watch it. I mean, if you look here, just even last night, Ether had a really good little rally here to 259. Look at that, all the way to 259 in one candle, and then it just went straight sideways. That would have been a great short to catch. But I don't think, to answer your question, Cammy, I don't think Ether. Okay, well, for you too, me do. Zero crash is kind of unrealistic. And yes, I know. I'm not being realistic in that. I'm not trying to be. I'm just being sarcastic because I mean clearly Ether is in big trouble. I think we easily see sub 200 Ether in the next few weeks, depending on what BTC does. And who knows where it's going to go from there. It really, you know, it's hard to tell. So we'll just have to wait it out and see what happens. But I don't think, obviously I don't think it's going to zero. It could. I mean, it really could. I mean, it's a possibility. I think there's a lot of altcoins that will end up at zero by the end of this bear market. Just, you know, I'm a firm believer that I've always said, even for a few years back now, that I believe that BTC, Ether, and a few other coins will be the only ones that really stick around in the long term. Now, what was the Ether price compared to last year? What was the Ether price compared to last year? Well, let's look. So Ether on the daily. Yeah, I mean, see, we're touching some serious lows here. Last year in September, Ether was literally, basically, well, let's see, what's today? September, today's the, sorry guys, I'm trying to get it in there. Today's the 18th. And the 18th, it's literally, that was a good question. I'm glad you asked that question because Ether is at its all-time low. It's literally at its all-time low right now. So what happens then? What does that mean? Does that mean that we break the all-time low here and keep going? I mean, it's literally at the exact same mark. The all-time low for Ether is $200. $201 is the all-time low for Ether. And the all-time low that we hit yesterday was 210. So we're at an all-time low for Ether again. And I'm telling you, if BTC falls to 6K, even if BTC falls to 6K, Ether's going down. So there's a strong possibility that Ether is sub 200 soon. And if that happens, it's hard to tell if it's really going to crash or not because we don't know. We don't have any history to see what's going to happen. So yeah, Ether back at an all-time low. Wow, what a week. So yeah, let's keep that in mind. Let's definitely watch that and see what happens and where it ends up going. We do have on the sequential though. This is one good thing for Ether, and maybe it'll work out. You did get your 13 on the countdown, but you got your 13 on the countdown. Then you get your 2 down still. So we didn't get the price flip. So I'm still bearish on. I'm still bearish on Ether. Ether was a few dollars early 2017. So why isn't it showing up on Stamp? Yeah, no, I mean, no, Ether definitely started at a few dollars, but I'm just saying the yearly all-time low is where we're at. Let's see, where did Ether start trading first? Oh, gotta remember so I can pull up that chart, because this is the Bitstamp chart. Let's look at Coinbase. There we go. All right, so with Coinbase, again, so for the year, we're definitely at a yearly all-time low, like we just showed, okay? And we're also at, like, the strongest support that it's got. So we're going to have to see, let me zoom in here a little bit. So let's just say, if it breaks that support, where it's at right now, if we break this support, we will end up probably falling to 155, 180, somewhere in this range here. You know, we're going to be giving ourselves a, you know, there's a nice little support area here. From there to about 160. If you go by closing candles, 155 to where we're at now is some of the strongest support Ether's gonna have. But if that breaks, Ether will go back to 15, 20 bucks. I mean, it can't break that level. I don't think it will. You know, because like I said, I don't feel BTC is quite done falling. So even if BTC falls more, let's say BTC falls to 5.5, okay, that will most likely drag Ether down to this, you know, 150 area, 155 to 180. It'll most likely bring it to that area. Now, if BTC rallies there, then we might be able to find a bottom on some of these bigger altcoins. Which is possible. I'll have to do a little bit more analysis on this Ether chart. I haven't been messing with it too much on the full scale. I've just kind of been watching, you know, Bitstamp's price and what it does on BitMEX. So we'll double check it. I'll go back through here and I'll do some TA on it tonight. I'll draw up a nice little some artwork here for you guys, and we'll decide, kind of see if we can figure it out. But right now, Ether is not looking good. It's really not looking good. Yeah, Raphael, it might be a good idea. Just set a long order at, you know, 150, and maybe it fills. You never know. If it does, it's gonna pay off. So it's possible. But the only problem with that is you know, from just in that last fall. Let's just look at what happened in BTC here. Let's go back to the hourly chart. Okay? Or sorry, not the hourly chart. I want to look at the daily chart. Okay, daily chart. So if you look at the daily chart, since yesterday, yesterday's fall, we dropped from 294 to 223. Okay, so that's what? 90, 20. It's about 70 bucks. Okay? And, all right, it was. So, you know, we dropped 70 bucks, right? And it actually fell more than that. It actually fell almost $100. Okay? If you go from the top of the wick, it was 302 to 217. So let's just call it $100, right? So Bitcoin fell 400. Oh wait, no, Bitcoin fell 1,000, and Ether fell 100. So if we can, I mean, just use that kind of as an idea. If Bitcoin falls another 1,000 and we go to 5.5, that would mean that Ether would drop another 100. In retrospect, is that true? Maybe, maybe not. But in retrospect, just for shits and giggles. So if that's the case, that would drop us to 124, which would put us right at the bottom wicks here of some of these drops that were rejected very heavily. Okay, so it could happen. It's very possible that we see, you know, 150, 120 Ether sometime in the next few weeks. It's very possible. So keep that in mind. Also, it's very possible that if people panic and we get there, we can push it down more. You know, just being realistic. I mean, we know the panic game in crypto is crazy. When people panic, they just sell and get out, and it gets ugly. So let's keep that in mind. Again, Ether is just something that I've been watching crash for months now, it seems. On the BTC Ether side, Ether USD side, it's just not looking good at all. I mean, this was a few weeks back. I thought that, you know, maybe we'll see a correction here. We're going, you know. This was back in July. And Ether looked like, you know, there was a possibility that it may be recovering. And it just crashed. So, again, keep an eye on it. Not something I'm very excited about. And even if you look at it, I mean, even in this rally, over this amount of what, you know, a month. In this month, BTC went from 6,000 to 85. Ether went from 400 to 500. I mean, it just doesn't have any strength anymore. Ether is very, very weak. So let's just keep an eye on it. It's definitely creeping down towards the oversold there. I mean, it was oversold. It's getting back towards the oversold area on the daily. Not quite there yet, though. There still is some room to fall, so keep an eye on that. But I'm going to stay away from Ether for the next few days and see kind of what it does. And just kind of see what happens and go from there. Yeah, and that's very true, too. Oh, okay, Thomas. Nice. All right, so yeah, I mean, Ether... yeah, I mean, all these ICOs sell their Ether, so you're right. I mean, and that's right. That's the one thing that worries me about Ether, because Ether is so tied up in every single ICO. Everybody has an ERC20 Ether token. And with Ether crashing, or Ether even, if Ether goes to $15 or $100, it's going to it's going to hurt the alt market so bad it's unbelievable. And that's why I'm saying that in due time, I mean, there will be maybe 100 coins. Maybe 100 coins out of the 3,000 or whatever that there is. Maybe 100 of those coins will stick around and stay. A lot of them are going to crash. A lot of them are going to go to zero. You're going to have 30, 40, you know, or 300, 400 coins that are trading at a penny. They're not, and they're going to end up being literally junk coins, pump and dump here and there, and that's it. I just don't see it doing anything better than that. So we'll see. But again, BTC is back in that area where we spent, you know, what, 2 weeks bouncing around in between the 0 level and the 2.36 level. So let's see if that happens again. You know, it's possible that we just bounce around in here for a little while. It's hard to tell. It really is. So we'll just have to, we're just going to have to play the game and stay on top of it and see what happens. So, for some reason my chart just like likes to get all messed up. You change it between time frames and everything gets jacked up. Okay. So anyway, that's kind of my outlook, guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'd like to look up anything for you or whatever you want me to do. BTC is climbing at the moment. We are now at 64.55. I always like playing with the OB just to kind of look at it. Again, I don't take too much of it into account, but I do look at it, and you know, it's pretty stacked. Could be dumpy, so just keep that in mind. We'll just have to see what happens. Maybe this will come up and fill my first order, and we'll see what happens. Who knows? And if it gets back to that 65 mark, I might just buy in, and you know, we'll see what happens from there. But I still truly believe that 6K is our target. I think we're going there no matter what. XRP, yeah, I can check out XRP. XRP's always been one of them coins I never really liked. So I've just kind of stayed away with it, and I think it's a shit coin. But, you know, I think they've got some good things going for them, but, I mean, I don't know. So let me get to the fib chart. That's my favorite one that I have set up right now. All right. XRP. Well, man, XRP's in a rally today, huh? Look at that. It's pumping like crazy. It looks like when BTC crashed, you know, which back is this? Yeah, Ether's, you know, honestly, man, if you're in profit in alts, I would definitely be getting out. I'm holding one alt right now, and that's Tron. And I've had Tron since the ICO. So, you know, it's a coin that I'll probably won't sell for a while. A lot of people hate Tron, but when you look at the technical side and not just the technical side, but what they're actually doing. They're making big moves. They're moving forward. They're really, really, they're in the news all the time. Tron is really working towards something big. It doesn't show it in their coin. I think it's very undervalued. And that's a coin that I've held for a while. And like I said, I've had it since an ICO. It's made me a ton of money. Even where it's at right now, I'm up big. So that's why I don't even touch it. It's been sitting in a nano for a while, in a cold storage, online. And I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to hold that one. I think that maybe in a few years, Tron will be, you know, maybe a $2, $3 token. And I'll be happy with that. But that's the only alt I'm holding right now. Other than that, I'm out of alts. I don't want nothing to do with alts right now. I'm strictly sticking with BTC and trading in short and Ether. You know, at this time, you know, we'll pick up, and you never know. Who knows? Maybe once this goes bull, if somehow it does, you know, if an ETF changes things, you know, I mean, an ETF approval will change everything here. It'll change a lot, and it'll change a lot quickly. So the problem is you'll see alts die for a little while because everybody will move their money into BTC. So just keep that in mind, that an ETF decision could damper this whole entire plan going down to 5.5. That could end immediately. This is all ETF pending news. So again, I still believe the ETF will be rejected, or not rejected, but delayed for sure. Who knows? We'll see then. It could be just approved. And if that's the case, we're at the perfect prime time to be getting in long. But I will not do that until we know that we get some type of an approval or a soft approval or we hit 5.5. Then we'll long. Or 5.8 or so. Because I'll start building along at about 5.8, see if we can catch the bottom. But anyway, so that's kind of the idea there. If you are in profit in alts, I would get out of them. I mean, there's a few of them that are good. I mean, I'm looking at XRP now. I mean, XRP had a really nice recovery. But if you look at XRP, it had a nice recovery, but it's still in a downtrend. So let's see what happens. XRP tends to do this. It tends to rally when Bitcoin falls, but then it tends to also follow it back down too. So let's see. Let's see what happens. ADA is probably another coin that I'd be looking at to short at some point. Not yet, but it is coming back up on its 50 MA, where I believe it will be rejected again. So keep an eye on that. ADA short may be a good play here pretty soon. Maybe somewhere around the 1350 to 1380 range. I would say I would possibly jump in and try to grab one. The thing with ADA is it broke below the zero line, so it may come up and test that. So 13. What did I say? Yeah, 1350 to 1380 or so. I would say that'd be a good entry for a short on ADA. But be careful, because ADA likes to, follow BTC up, and then BTC falls, and sometimes it likes to go up a little bit before it does follow it down. You a Tron kisser? Yes, I love Tron. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite coins. But yeah, and it's true. Alts are going green right now. But let's be real, guys. Every time Bitcoin starts to drop, alts get a little rally, and then what do? They crash, and they crash twice as fast as BTC did. I mean, we've hit new lows on almost every coin this year, and I think that we're still going to hit another new low on some of these new coins. So just keep that in mind. I mean, if BTC is going to find a new low, then for sure everything else is going to find a new low. So that's why I've just kind of stayed away from them. I'm just worried more or less about what Ether BTC is going to do. Man, I wish I would have looked at this ADA chart yesterday, because it would have been a hell of a short. You like it? Okay. I'm just reading through here, guys. Sorry. Yeah, crash hard. Yeah, I think so. I think that there's a lot of... yeah, with Tron is... That's the one thing that I like about Tron, is I'm a businessman, so, growing up, starting a construction company young, doing these things, many ventures, I've had a medical marijuana grow, I've done a lot of different things, I've got a few ventures that I'm still in, I've got money in a lot of different areas. I've learned as a businessman, when you start buying up companies and you're really, really, really thinking that you're going to change the internet, and you're putting in the time, and Tron seems to release something every other day. I truly believe it's undervalued, super undervalued. This coin should easily be trading at $1. How the hell is Neo trading at $1 or $2 or whatever it is? Not Neo. Even XRP. How the hell is XRP trading at, almost $1, or was trading at almost $1 earlier in the year, and Tron's trading at 3 cents? It makes 0 sense. So, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of coins out there. Now, Tron is more, I don't know. We'll come back to Tron. We'll come back to Tron. You can show, I think, 4 hour. What do you want to see, Cam? You want to see the 4 hour on the XBT chart? Let's see, 4 hour XBT. Yes. Okay. So here's the 4 hour XBT chart with my fibs on it. So there's a lot of mess going on here. But again, on the 4 hour, let's zoom in a little. What did you want me to? What did you want to know? Again, it's being rejected. 2368 level. It did give you that 9. The up 9. Gave you the up 9, but man, this looks weak. It looks like a bear flag to me. But you don't know. It's kind of towards that oversold area. Or it is oversold. It's clearly oversold. Let me see here. Not all of my charts have my line on it. So yeah, I mean, this is oversold. It's coming back up towards the oversold line, so we'll see. Right, yeah, so let me look at, I got the BB chart too, so let's look at the BB chart here. 4 hour. Okay, so there's the 4 hour chart. And yeah, we had one big candle. This one didn't completely close out of the BB, but this one did. Okay, and then you got you a sequential 9, and then it should start a countdown. So we'll see. The countdown hasn't started, but it is a green 1. So the way that this works is it's a good long signal when you have a 9 sequential. Okay. You have a BB, you have a candle that did close out of the BB, okay? You have a 9 sequential, then you have a green 1. The only way that this becomes a decent long trade short term is if you have a green 2 above a green 1. If this green 2 falls beneath this green 1 and it ends up being a green 2 under a green 1, stay out. Or if it obviously price flips again. But if you do have a green 2 above a green 1, then that is usually a decent long signal. And you're going to set your stop loss at the closing of that 9. Actually, you want to go back 4 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4. So at the closing of the 7th candle, which would be 63.86. Not much room to play in this. To me, I would stay away from this. I would stay away from longing anything at this point. It just does not look smart. It doesn't look good. Maybe short-term rally, a couple $100, but it's risky, especially with the fall-offs that happen. If it just decides to dump, you're out. So just be careful with it, okay? Crypto. Blimmy, you don't like my Tron or what, bro? You got a whole stack of MCO, which is a good coin, by the way, guys. It's been working out. MCO is a good project. Hey, it's difficult because if it wasn't difficult, everybody would be doing it. We'd all be riding around in Lambos, not Hambos. So, but anyway, guys, I do have a few things I need to get to. I have spent some time with you guys today. I love doing this. I love it when we get this box going and we can all be in here chatting and stuff. But yeah, so that's the outlook I see. Like I said, I do have some shorts set at that 65.20 range. And let's see what happens. You know, let's just play it. What's up? What's up, Blim? MCO cards are coming. That is true. Their debit card is coming out. Keep an eye out on that. We did say something about MCO a few weeks back, or I did. I mentioned it in here that it was a good buy. And if you guys did buy it, it did jump pretty good. And it's up again today, I believe. So that is a good coin. Again, I haven't been messing with many alts lately just because I just don't like them. I'm scared of them right now. I mean, I guess I'm not scared of them, but they just don't seem to be in an area where I want to risk trading them. So, you know, I think we'll stick with XBT for a while, see what happens here. You know, I really feel we have a chance to catch a good bull run, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. So let's just keep that in mind. The other thing is, too, is one last thing I wanted to show you guys. Yes, let's use the BitMEX charts. Okay, what's this? No. Okay, so on the daily, the one thing I just wanted to go over, I mean, I'm not going to go through it all and stuff like that, but I know a lot of people say, oh, well, why are you comparing this year's bear market to last year's bear market? There's so much there until the 2014 bear market. So much is different, blah, 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 blah. The thing is it's not. It keeps showing us time and time again that it's not any different, and that's the one thing that is a little bit sketchy, because if that is the case, we could see another 7, 8, 9 months of this bear market. You know, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm not predicting that right now, but I am saying that it is very possible. And, you know, we'll just have to see kind of how it plays out. But just keep that in mind, that this bear market is very, very, very closely mimicking the 2014 bear market. It's a little faster and a lot weaker. So just remember that, and keep that in mind as well when you're doing some of these trades. I know it takes a lot. I know it's difficult sometimes to be able to understand and trade all of these different indicators and stuff like that. And I will start doing some videos on certain indicators. We'll start with, you know, maybe the BB and then the Ichimu, and then, you know, maybe we'll work on some MA different things, and you know, some fib level stuff and stuff like that. And I want to start going over one or two every once in a while just to work with you and help you guys out. But that is something that I want to do. And it does look like a Christmas tree. It's awesome, right? You know, it doesn't look too bad when you zoom in. I don't have much on here. I think it's just because I have the sequential on there, and you take the sequential off and the stop and reverse points, it makes it a pretty clear chart. So, but anyway, that is going to be all for today, guys. I will chat with you guys. If you need anything, let me know. But for right now, you know, for those of you that are in VIP, as well as the fund, I believe that 6,500 might be a good entry for a short. For XBT right now, 65 to 66 area is what I would do. If we miss it, we miss it. You know, let's not try to catch it and FOMO in. But I do believe that it's going down. Now that we're looking at this here, we just got popped back down. Depending on what the next few hour candles do here, this could go. So keep that in mind. I know, bro. God, that's what happens when you're at home all the damn time. My son loves it. He's always grabbing on it and shit. So it works out. I need to clean it up. But anyway, we'll get to that. You know, man, it's nice. It's nice having somebody else run the construction side of things for me, so that I'm not having to get out there and do it himself. You know, I'm fortunate to have the right man in place that is able to take care of some of those stuff. So I'm at home a lot lately. Yeah, I've been a little lazy. I've been sitting here working crypto and charting and stuff like that. So, but I'll get it taken care of. I'll get it cleaned up for you, I promise. But anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow at noon. If you guys can, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.